Here we are back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the score at halftime is Miami Dolphins 9, the Seattle Seahawks 3. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bob, the Dolphin defense is tough to move on. What do you do as a game plan?
Well, Jack Patera's got to be very unhappy with his receivers and running backs. They're just flat not catching the ball. Zorn hasn't thrown the ball that bad, but he's had about 4 or 5 drops, same as he had last week. They got to play a very good second half to get back in this game because Miami's defense has got the steam going for them.
The field goals could be the story. It seems to be difficult getting the ball deep, and there is still another distinct threat of a storm coming in. We've had a big one already. It lasted about 15 minutes, then blew away. Doesn't look too good over there, though.
No, it doesn't. I've never been in a hurricane, and I'm not really anxious to be, but if it does rain, if the weather does get bad, it favors the Miami Dolphins with their big running backs. Delvin Williams, Larry Zonka, even though he's bothered, I think, with a bad shoulder.
Well, Zorn's already put the ball in the air 19 times, but Greasy's been throwing too. He's put it up 15 times. And with the wet ball, the wet field, and the guys throwing a lot, we could have more turnovers. That could be the ultimate outcome of this game decided on those.
And that would be unfortunate. Seattle's traveled a long way. They lost last week on some bad breaks. They're here trying to play the best they possibly can. And when the weather turns sour, then all of a sudden you got to go to your plan B. You try to do things that you're not really practicing, that you haven't practiced the week before. And it changes the entire complexion of the ball game. So it makes it tough on both teams.
Seattle doesn't follow the form chart. They throw a lot in first down, and right now we're ready to kick it off. Here in the third quarter, the Dolphins will be receiving. As you see the halftime statistical breakdown, the arithmetic.
Possession time close. The penalties have played a big part in this. Also turnovers for both teams. The interception returned by Roan really turned it around for Miami in the first half, in the second quarter.
I tell you, there's only one statistic that makes any difference. That's the bottom line up there on the
scoreboard. You're right. Absolutely right.
But they say statistics are for whoever, not winners.
Not the players. The statistics are for the people who watch the game, I think.
Efren Herrera hits it downfield, and Tony Nathan, a rookie back from the Crimson Tide of Alabama, takes it across the 15-yard line and out to the 21. And there, Greasy and the offense go on at 1st and 10. Don Dufek, All-American defensive back at Michigan. Top special team player. 25 was down on the hit for Seattle.
Okay, I think if I'm Don Shula, I'm going to get with my offense and I say, gentlemen, we're going to try going wide a little more, because I think if they can establish somewhat of a wide running game, it'll take some of the pressure off the outside receivers. They'll be able to throw the ball a little better. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Delvin Williams, Larry Zonka both on sweeps here early in this series.
The Dolphins, the highest scoring team in the NFL last season. Greasy with a good, diverse offense. A lot of different sets. Gives the Seattle defense, a young one, a lot to look at. Zonka comes out thundering, hits out across the 20, gets close to the 25-yard line. Beast in the middle, linebacker hit him.
Isn't that the way they started out the first half?
Exactly how they did it.
Well, when you got a guy like that carrying it at 237 pounds who also catches the ball for you, will block for the other running back, very unselfish running back, you got to keep him happy with a few carries.
We're told now that David Sims sustained a neck injury. The extent of it has not been determined, but he won't play again today. 2nd down and 7. Greasy swings it out. Nice catch by Delvin Williams. He'd been better letting the ball go, though.
I agree with you totally. That was a quick screen setup, trying to take advantage of the penetration by the defensive lineman. Greasy pushed it a little bit. Williams made a fine catch of it, though, and everybody was out there to stop it. Fooled nobody. Well, now they come with their receiver back in the backfield. 3rd and about 11 yards.
Duriel Harris at the top of your screen, 82. He'll go out wide left. The wide out to the right side now is Cephalo, 81. They bring Nat Moore into the backfield. He'll come sprinting out in a fly. Linebacker has to take him on. They've been doubling up, though, bringing the strong safety up, trying to help the linebacker. Greasy takes a look. Throws. Not enough there as Hardy, the tight end, comes across. It's an incomplete pass. And so the Dolphins come out, get nowhere, lose 2 yards on 3 downs. Now they'll punt it to Seattle.
I don't imagine Mr. Shula is very, very happy. There's the final score, 29-26 over Tampa Bay over Baltimore. Tampa is for real in overtime.
Niall O'Donoghue kicked the field goal that decided that game. Tampa Bay came from behind with 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and the Colts scored. Big, long, 56-yard play. Greg Landry throwing. went to overtime. Tampa Bay now 2-0 on the season. They don't know what so much success is all about down there. The hit downfield by Roberts takes a Miami hop inside the 40-yard line. It'll roll down to the 36. So now Seattle will go on offense, 1st and 10. Seattle on offense has Jim Zorn at quarterback. Sherman Smith has gone almost the full distance at fullback. David Sims went out with the injury. Dan Jornick has been in there, number 33 in his stead, replacing Sims. Wide receivers alternate. Steve Largent has always been, and for the most part, Sam McCullum and Duke Ferguson. Change on the other side. McCullum goes out wide to the right, 84. Largent to the left. Ryan Teets is the tight end, 88. John Yarno, the center. Lynch and Newton, the guards. August and Bullard, the tackle. Zorn got a problem. Baumhauer's after him. Lets her rip. Penalty marker flies into the air.
Offensive lineman across the line of scrimmage. That was a setup screen. Miami defended it well. Number 78 happened to get across the line of scrimmage for the Seattle Seahawks. Bob Newton, the guard, out there leading. Illegal man downfield.
2nd and 10 if they decline the penalty. They'll take it and make it 1st and 15. Zorn, you like to give him as few chances, I guess, as you can. They're going to take
Jim Zorn. Agreed. Kind of surprising. Here's the call.
So the ball, yep, the legal man down. So there is now an interference call against the offense. The ball is set back to the 26-yard line.
One of the real strengths of the Seattle offense is the fact that Jim Zorn is not afraid to run the football. He has not run the ball very much at all today. I'm rather surprised at that. That's a good offensive weapon for Seattle.
Last week he ran it 4 times against San Diego, gained over 12 yards a carry. Now it's 1st and 10 Seattle as the Seahawks are set back to their 25. Zorn in the flat, sings it out. Breaks the strike to Jornick. Turns the corner, knocked out of bounds to the 31. Bring up 2nd along yardage, 2nd and about 15. Larry Gordon, number 50, one of the 4 Miami linebackers, was on the stop. Ernest Roan is in the game, 55. Excuse me, Bob, along with Matheson and Chambers. Changing people back there, too.
I was going to say, Seattle's got a real problem in that they haven't been running the ball very well at all, so they've got to go with the pass. And there's a 3rd quarter score, 21-3, San Diego over Oakland. They've got to go with the pass, and of course, when they don't respect the run, the linebackers are out there to stop the short pass.
So now on 2nd down and 15, Zorn sets people wide to either side. 3 of them are out. 2 setbacks in an open backfield. They swing out, and Zorn takes a deep drop. They give him some time, and he makes the strike. Not enough for the 1st down. The ball is completed, though, out to the 43. It's going to bring up 3rd about 4. Rabel came over the middle and caught the ball.
Play coming from the bench from Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator. That's a good idea. Just get back about 2/3 of it, and you got 3rd and what is it, about 3 or 4? They got an awful lot of possibilities here to pick up the 1st down.
And the Seahawks have a full playbook with Jerry Rome directing the pass offense and Zorn the guy who can execute it.
Well put.
Hands off. They go to the run, and they get the 1st down. They go to Sherman Smith, and Sherman Smith takes it right up the gut. Gets the ball out to the 47-yard line. It's a 1st down Seahawks.
Kind of a roll draw by Sherman Smith. Zorn normally is a very good rollout quarterback. The linebackers thinking it was going to be a pass. Zorn right up through the middle. Good blocking by that young offensive line from the Seattle Seahawks. Miami may have been lulled to sleep a little bit with the success they had defensively in the 1st half. Seattle's coming on here.
Jornick is the up back. He can block. He comes in motion now. They go again to Sherman Smith. He rides the ball across midfield down to the 49. 1st down carry got 3. Den Herter, the left end, number 83, was on the stop for Miami. Defensive front of the Dolphins has Den Herter, Baumhauer, and Betters. He's played a lot of right defensive end, number 75.
Look at that statistic. 4 carries, 10 yards. He got 95 yards last week. They've shut him down completely.
As we saw at halftime, the Seahawks had only 27 yards running the ball.
You can't win a football game that way. You've got to be balanced, especially against a defense like the Dolphins.
Coach Shula in his 10th year at Miami, in his 17th year as a head coach in the NFL. Zorn, deep drop, swings out, and there's lots of room for Sherman Smith to operate. Turns the corner inside the 40, and Smith has a 1st down and more as he goes out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Or can you win not running the football? That's the sets up like he's going to block. And there he is again. And once he gets the ball with his size, 6'4.5", 225, got great mobility. Gordon almost missing. Finally out of bounds by Rusty Chambers. First down.
The Seattle offensive line starting to pick up its play. Moving out nicely against the Miami defensive front. First and 10, Seattle. Zorn, good play fake in the flat. Man is open. The ball a little overthrown for Largent, who will catch it if it's near him.
Well, they may be having trouble running patterns on this grass field they're used to practicing on, although that's a very feeble excuse. I'll bring it up anyway. When you play on grass after playing on AstroTurf, it does give you some psychological feeling that you're running slower. That's a time pass, and 9 times out of 10, Zorn is going to connect with Largent on that. 9 for 23, 102 yards, 2 interceptions. Not a good day for Jim Zorn.
But not over either.
No,
10:45 to play, third quarter. Second and 10, Zorn going to gun it again. Swings it out. Durning with the ball, and Durning with a good move in the open field gets close to a first down. Did not get there as he is cut down short of the 25-yard line of the 27.
Taking the place of David Sims, just a little flare pass out of the backfield, and that's really all Miami is giving him. One man out there to block for him. Good move here, as you said, for a guy his size, and he's driving for the first down. Good tackle, too, by Vetters.
It rained hard in the second quarter here in Miami. The rain has stopped now. We're in the third quarter. Temperature about 80 right now. Very humid. As Zorn and the Seahawks starting to mount a challenge inside the Miami 30. Third down and 4. Another fake, and did it get enough for the first down? Apparently it did. Just about enough. They drive the ball down inside the 25-yard line. Ben Herter was the tackler on the play. Sherman Smith carried the ball.
Same play that got him the first down before. What they try to do on that 3-man defensive line is you ask your offensive linemen to cut one man off, and that produces a void in the defensive line, and you give Sherman Smith enough yardage, enough time in the backfield to get through that hole. That's exactly what happened. It's worked twice in a row now for first down, or maybe a first down.
The missed extra point following the first score. There's the first down for the Seahawks. It'll ultimately be a big factor in this game. If the Seahawks can get it in to the end zone, they could go ahead on an extra point.
You know, Don, coming out in the second half, all the years that I've played, the most important drive of the game is the first one of the game and the first one in the second half for your offense. And Seattle has established the fact that they're not going to roll over and play dead here. Miami's got to come up with a big play. Look for a blitz or something really funny coming from Miami on this particular play.
Zorn is sending his backs out on almost every passing play. They do come with a blitz. There's nothing back there to help him except his own wily elusiveness. He's back there. Throws, end zone, Rabel, touchdown, Seattle. Perfect play by the Seahawks. Rusty Chambers was covering, and Rabel, who dropped the ball earlier, comes out and makes the big play. Look at the strike by Zorn.
That's the ability of Jim Zorn. That's a feather-like touch, putting it over the outstretched arms of Chambers. Bad coverage by Chambers. There you see it again. Inside, outside on the tight end, who comes out of the backfield. 6 points, and that extra point, here we go.
Efren Herrera ready to try to point after. A workmanlike precision as Efren Herrera drives through the extra point, and the Seattle Seahawks take the lead 10-9 with 9:26 left to play in the third period. So that opening drive in the third period for the Seahawks was a deciding one, at least at this point in the game, as they take the lead.
This baby's been from Maine to Malibu, but I don't let her go nowhere without the treatment.
This is no car. This is a legend. And you better believe I give her the treatment.
STP oil treatment. Since 1964, over 500 million cans have been sold. No other brand even comes close. So do what millions do. Give your car the treatment from STP.
This sweetheart gets a treat, and this sweetheart gets the treatment.
Time to trade in for TouchTune. At your Magnavox dealer now. Trade in your old set for Magnavox TouchTune color television and save big. TouchTune television with a sharper color picture than ever before possible. And just for touching TouchTune television. You'll be handed free this official National Football League manual. It's trade-in for TouchTune time. Trade and save at your Magnavox dealer now.
Next Saturday on the Game of the Week, hard-hitting George Foster and the front-running Reds take on the LA Dodgers. The Astros face the Giants. Check local listings for the game in your area. See it all on NBC Sports. We're proud.
Efren Herrera has just put the Seahawks in the lead with his extra point following the touchdown throw Jim Zorn to Steve Rabel as the Seahawks win 74 yards in 9 plays.
9 different plays, I might add.
That's right. Different sets. Oh, an onside kick. These guys are playing tough, but the Dolphins come. Oh, the Dolphins have it. It was close. A big play on special teams where games are decided, and this guy's going to be a good football player. Don Veselu from Georgia Tech.
Boy, that's tough. When you're up there, that's exactly what you're there for. He did his job.
Next week, the baseball game of the week travels to a new time as we go with the Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Dodgers from L.A. Also from the West Coast, Houston and San Francisco. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area following Major League Baseball and Inside Look, the pregame show, and that will all be following Sports World.
You didn't say the first place Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah,
Mr. Cricky.
that's right. You got to go home, don't you?
Shame on you.
It is 1st and 10 now as the Seahawks bring that defensive line up tight, looking for the run on 1st down, and that's what the Dolphins send at them. Delvin Williams takes it across the 45 and down to the 41. And right now we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching KING TV, Seattle.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Cricky, Orange Bowl in Miami. Home opener for the Dolphins, a team that Don Shula says has the potential to win another Super Bowl, a 3rd Super Bowl of the 70s. But right now, the Seahawks on their opening possession of the 3rd quarter have come back from a 9-3 halftime deficit. They have taken the lead. It is 10-9 game. An onside quick try by Seattle didn't work, and now Miami starts to move, and a strike is put on Delvin Williams. John Harris, the free safety, came up. We have a good report on David Sims. The x-rays were negative. He's walking around the locker room. He's all right. He has a contusion on his neck. He won't be back in the football game, but he will be flying home with the team.
To repeat, he is mobile. He is mobile. That's the most important thing. And I don't want to argue with Mr. Shula, but his team has not played like a Super Bowl team for this year so far. Doesn't mean that they won't from here on out. 8:39 left in the game.
They did the preseason.
Yes, they did.
And he said we want to score points in this game. We didn't at Buffalo last week. It is 3rd down now and 6. Reese looks, he throws, and it's broken up. Nat Moore was there, and then recovering on the play to break it up with Keith Simpson, a guy who's been troubled by injuries in his first 2 seasons as a Seahawk. Number 1 draft choice 2 years ago out of Memphis
Excuse me,
State.
Don. Excellent play. Once again, Nat Moore coming out of the backfield. Greasy trying to take advantage of those young defensive backs. He just gets his hand on it in desperation. Fine play by Simpson. Miami's got a punt, so the onside kick worked.
Mind you again that next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern time on NBC Sports World, you'll see bowling competition and a live attempt at the world high dive record. The record is 158 feet. Here is George Roberts. That's at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Hitting the high punt. And let it hop. And again, the Dolphins have a shot at downing it inside the 5 and do not make good. Roberts has done his job exceptionally well.
That's twice that's happened. That's unforgivable.
We have a break in the action. The clock shows 8:22 left to play in the 3rd quarter, with Seattle now leading Miami 10-9.
Take care of your car at Kmart.
Your Kmart Automotive Center has the answer to your muffler problem. The zinc-coated, double-wrapped Kmart Arrestor muffler. Have it installed by Kmart, and if anything goes wrong, they'll replace it free, as long as you own your American-made car. The Arrestor. Zinc-coated and double-wrapped like the best. And best of all, Kmart price. Get it at Kmart Automotive Centers across the USA, where quality auto products are Kmart priced.
This Bud's for everyone who's into hot tracks and red-hot cars.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. The Budweiser Spider and the clean, crisp taste of the king of beers.
For all you do,
This Bud's for you.
Opening Friday, it's Arnold's First Romance. Then on iShine.
Got a mass murderer on our hands.
Only the Pretty Girls Die. Friday, September 21st on NBC.
Bob Greasy unable to sustain offense here in the third quarter on 2 possessions, and now the ball is back over to Seattle. Oakland finally got a touchdown in the third quarter at San Diego. Chargers still in command of the game, 21-10. Dornick and Sherman Smith, the setbacks in the Seattle backfield. Weather's good now. No rain. Lights are on this grass field here at the Orange Bowl. Quick hitter and driving off tackle is Dornick. Quickly out of the blocks. Big back, 225.
Yes, absolutely. Taking advantage of the defense. They just got lucky, or Miami was unlucky on that one. The linebacker blitzed away from that spot. Dornick got up through there for a couple of yards.
Cleveland putting it to Kansas City out there, 17-0. Browns, an overtime winner last week, could be up 2-0.
And Baltimore got, or excuse me, Kansas City shut out Baltimore last week. Turnabout's fair play.
14-0 of that number. Wild scores today. Here is Jim Zorns. 2 wide receivers up the left. He also puts Dornick out there. Then comes back to the weak side. And Sherman Smith breaks tackles, and he's on his way. Smith spinning off, crosses midfield, and goes all the way down to the 47-yard line. So they're giving Miami's defense a new look in their offensive blocking.
And what they're doing is just watch the nose man. Watch the center. See how he pushes. Oh, that's somewhat legal. On Baumhauer, controls him good. Sherman Smith gets up through there. Good blocking on the middle linebacker, and then it's up to the tank. Sherman Smith. Good yardage for a guy his size. 6'4", 225. Smith goes out for a rest behind tackle. But that's a first down, and the momentum has changed. It's now on the side of the Seahawks.
It is indeed. Sherman Smith has now gained 42 yards and 6 carries. He just got 29 in that last one.
That's 72 yards and 6.
Zorn looking long. Home run ball. Largent is out there, and it's just a little too much on it. As Seattle wants more of the same. Zorn looking to strike long. Norris Thomas, the left corner, 41, was covering on the play, but Largent had 2 steps on it.
Not good defense by the Miami Dolphins. Not good defense at all. They are not playing well defensively. Seattle is doing a lot of things.
Largent is not supposed to be quick, but he blew by a very fast cornerback to get deep. 6:52 left to play. Third period. Seahawks have rallied back, trailed at the half 9-3, and they're now up 10-9. Rabel comes in. He's wide to the right. Gives Largent a rest. McCullum comes out to the left. Second down and 10 for Seattle. Zorn called his own number. And he got plenty, and Jim Zorn's all the way down to the 31-yard line.
As I told you, there's no defense in professional football to stop the quarterback from running. It's a design play. Center takes the nose man out, Baumhauer. He's got 2 escorts up through there. Excellent runner. That's a quick 12, 13 yards. 2 carries, 15 yards. And here's a look at the defensive side of the line of scrimmage. They thought it was passed. Started to lock onto their receivers, and Zorn is on them before they realize what happened.
Tell you, Bob, as this game wears on, you become more and more impressed with Seattle's offensive line. They're really playing good football. There's Zorn. Looking, looping. Could be picked off. It is. The ball is intercepted. Gerald Small, the right cornerback, had position, saw the ball underthrown, stepped back, and so the Seattle drive ends.
And Jim Zorn was very, very mad at himself. That was a bad, bad throw.
He has now been intercepted 3 times in the game, but Seattle is holding to a 1-point lead. Miami will have the ball when we come back to the Orange Bowl.
A storm-damaged house and a lady and her plants have a problem.
Everything will be all right. I hate lying to him, but I haven't got the money to fix this. And you know how long the insurance could take.
Not with Allstate. Allstate has more professional claims specialists than any other company to make sure your settlement is fair and fast.
I'll call your contractor.
That didn't take long.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
Ed and Stella Ford just got a Chrysler New Yorker and a $400 check from Chrysler Corporation.
We saw the car, we fell in love with it, and the price was wonderful.
So we bought it.
And with a $400 check, We got the best buy of the year.
Now's the time to deal. Chrysler Corporation's giving dealers big cash incentives they can pass on to you. And only Chrysler tops your deal with a $400 check. Not Ford, not GM. Come to Chrysler Plymouth. Check it out.
We are back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Here is Zorn looking for points, but they go to the wrong numbers.
Well, he was open. There's no doubt about that, but he was standing right there, and he was wearing the wrong colored jersey. And Jim Zorn has had 2 weeks of very, very poor play on his part. 3 interceptions last week, 3 this week. That's not Jim Zorn.
It's a great line that Greg Cook gave Paul Brown when Brown asked him why he threw the interception. Coach, he was the only guy open.
Only one open.
Zonka thunders ahead. Knocks that football in. Hand-hot runs around it and drives out across the 15-yard line. Miami needs offense badly now with 5:50 left to play in the third quarter.
Well, with Don Shula talking about the character of this football team and the possibility of going to the Super Bowl, this is where they prove their character, right here. They must get a drive to score. And the fans know it.
Cornell Webster and Dave Brown at the corners. Autry Beeman and John Harris are the safeties for Seattle. Joe Norman, a rookie, back in the line on one side. Pete Cronin is in the game now, along with Sammy Green. Ernie Price, Robert Hardy, Manu Tuiasosopo, and Bill Gregory on the defensive front for Seattle.
What's his name?
Tuiasosopo.
Very well done.
Manu
Tuiasosopo.
He's a cousin of the guy they drafted at Cincinnati. Here's the legal procedure call. Goes against the defense.
Don, from what I understand, you're talking about Tuiasosopo and Jack Thompson from Washington State, the Bengals' first-round draft choice. They're all cousins. All Samoans are cousins.
They asked Patera who they picked in the first round. He said the best available Samoan.
They got him defensively.
UCLA. Manu.
First down.
That's the old Sandlot trick. Try to grab it before the center can snap it to the quarterback. Let's see what made him move. Oh, I see. Langer moved his foot. That should have been on the offense. Oh, he got away with one there.
Reading the George Allen playbook.
Squeezed the ball.
Miami in a Super Bowl. Got caught. First down and 10 now for Miami. Zonka doesn't see much there, so he just puts his head down and knocks into people. Doesn't get much. Stopping him on the play, Gregory and Joe Norman.
Norman on the tackle.
Not much coordination in that play. Zonka beat Delvin Williams to the line of scrimmage, and Delvin Williams is supposed to be a blocker for him. There's Boo coming in for Larry Zonka. He seems to be carrying his left shoulder a little bit. Got the home opener for Larry Zonka after 5 years absence.
Second down and 8 now. Nat Moore to the right. Single coverage on him, and Greasy's going for the long ball to Nat Moore. He comes back. He had a step on Webster, came back at the ball. Webster saying he was pushed by Nat Moore.
I think he was. Nat Moore was very lucky to get away with that. Came back for the ball. The great quarterbacks in professional football down through the years have done that. Joe Namath, Kenny Stabler, Bob Greasy, when he sees a guy running side by side, normally the defensive back is looking at the offensive receiver. The offensive receiver is looking at the ball. He underthrows it, and it's a sure reception. Simply dropped by Nat Moore. Very uncharacteristic. Here we see it once again. Looking at Nat Moore all the way, looking for the coverage. He underthrows him, I do believe, on purpose. Nat Moore, well, I think Cornell Webster just slipped. Nat Moore should have caught that pass.
Now Carl Eller, number 71, comes in the game. He'll play left end. Passing down, third down and 8 for the Dolphins. Big play. Here comes the blitz. Greasy gets it away. It's caught by Joey L. Harris. Down. He got a first down, and Greasy took a thunderous hit. Joe Norman, a linebacker, was coming. The back could only pick up 1 or 2 linebackers. He blasted one, but Norman had a free shot.
That's part of the problem of being a quarterback. You got to stand in there and throw it under a lot of pressure. As you say, the weak side linebacker comes and hits him right dead in the almost
Jackson
the chest.
On the play also.
Yes, Jerry L. Harris on a fine catch, and he was down.
That was a 3rd and 8 play, so Miami converts the first down. 4:20 to play in the third quarter.
You understand why the quarterbacks make all the money. They normally take most of the money.
some of it anyway.
Yes, Greasy 10 for 21, 107 yards.
Zonka and Dell Williams are the setbacks in a first down play for Miami. Dell Williams weaves ahead, gets the ball out to the 40. Got almost 5. Bill Gregory knocked him down. Clock winds on. 3:50.
They're still not going with the sweep that much, Don Cricky. They're breaking it back inside, but I'm kind of surprised with the speed of Delvin Williams. That loosens up defensive lines an awful lot when you can sweep outside with a guy at the speed of Delvin Williams.
But there's been some good defensive adjustments on the part of Seattle. Matt Morton caught a ball here in the second half. Been close. You want to wear that clock you see ticking down to 7-6. It's a 30-second clock. Not a time that offense is allowed to get the ball in play. Swing pass goes to Hardy, the tight end. And Hardy gets some more yardage, got the first down. Looked like he was going to go out of bounds, and then he turned upfield. Finally knocked down by the strong safety, Utley Beeman.
Well, I think we can account that pass reception to Hardy because of the coverage on Nat Moore. Nat Moore runs that little slant pattern inside, and they're looking for it. Hardy comes out underneath, and he's standing there wide open for about a 15-yard gain and a touchdown. I like that kid's number. What is it, 84?
84.
Yeah.
They didn't retire yours, though.
No. In fact, they barely washed it before somebody could come in and get it.
It is first down and 10 now. Miami with the ball, trailing by a point, 10-9. Greasy play faking. He takes his time. He lets her rip. Oh, what a catch. Oh, no. Delvin Williams. Harold Toller on top of the play says, now let's see another fish that's going to roll it in.
I think what the other official is going to say is that he was knocked out of bounds by the defender, and that is a pass reception. Good play by the other official. I like that. We jump on those striped shirts a lot, but that's nice. There he's telling him right there. The defensive player knocked the offensive player out of bounds. Therefore, it is a pass reception inbounds. Fine throw by Bob Greasy over the head of Harris, 44.
This is all receiver, though. 1 foot, 2 feet.
Oh, he's got both feet in. Excellent reception. Excellent reception.
So now the Dolphins advance the ball down to the 21-yard line of Seattle. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Miami trailing by a point.
Delvin, you got it. And that extra point miss looms very large.
.22-yard gain on the play, and now Greasy with a long count. Pitches back. Here comes Williams. Zonka block. Missed the block. Well done by the left cornerback, Cornell Webster. Sidestep Zonka. That's one of the tough parts of being a cornerback. Fullbacks and guards that weigh 240 to 260 trying to hit on you.
And then you got to turn around and cover a guy like Nat Moore. Well, I've been lobbying for the sweep all day. They run it, and that's what happens. They obviously know more than I do.
Right where they started on that set of downs, down to the 21-yard line. 1:35 left to play now, as the Dolphins running the ball up the field and then mixing with the long pass that goes to Delvin Williams. Now Greasy might have to throw again. He sends Harris to the left. Nat Moore playing off on the right wing. Tuia Sissoko almost got him. Greasy's going to run the ball. Very wisely bails out.
I imagine Don Shula was holding his breath when Bob Greasy took off on that. He had a terrible, terrible knee injury last year that didn't require surgery, but he wore a cast on his knee for about 7 weeks before they could determine whether or not he should have surgery.
Right, they took a gamble.
And it worked out.
He came back. Greasy is the offense. Shula says of him, he's probably the most unselfish guy I've ever been around in football. He gets as much of a thrill calling the right running play for a touchdown as he does connecting on a bomb. That's just his makeup, says Shula.
And that's true of that entire football team, and the credit for that attitude goes to Don Shula.
He tops all active quarterbacks in touchdowns and victories as a starter. Touchdown passes and victories. 93 victories. Everybody left early. We'll see who was the first as penalty markers go down.
Well, it's going to be 3rd and 2. That's on the defense. If they didn't catch Bob Greasy with his inflection or Jim Langer and squeezing the football, offside, Seattle. Keep the drive alive.
Greasy has thrown the ball 23 times. Has completed 12 for 156 yards, and Miami's only touchdown. Seattle leads the game 10-9. 1:09 to play in the third quarter.
Number 67, still 3rd down.
Bill Cook left early. Well, the Dolphins get a break. Instead of 3rd and long, they get 3rd and 2.
Here comes the heavy horses. Delvin Williams, Larry's uncle. Difficult to stop, 3rd and 2.
Greasy, one of the most remarkable statistics. In his last 5 seasons, he's completed over 60% of his passes. Greasy throws. Oh! Nat Moore turning out would have had the first down yardage, but now we have Uwe van Schamen coming back out onto the playing field to try another field goal. He hit his only one of the day, missed his only extra point, hit the upright. He would give Miami a 12-9 lead if he hits it. Line of scrimmage on the play is the 13, 7-yard drop to the 20 would be a 30-yard field goal.
And we understand the guy he replaced, Garo Eupremian, who is an institution in this city, is in the stadium watching. I suppose hoping that Don Shula will call him in like some Ronald Reagan movie in the 4th quarter to put on his uniform and kick the winning field goal. I don't think it'll happen.
That was Shula coaching the team.
That's right. I agree.
Van Schamen hits it well. Right on the money.
He's rubbing it in.
Uwe van Schamen hits his 2nd field goal in as many tries. And now the Dolphins rally back with a minute to play in the 3rd period, and they have the lead 12-10. We've got a long way to go, though. Stay with us.
Beer tender. I'll have my favorite light beer.
Natural, sure. Want one for your friend?
My friend?
You see, he doesn't have to call it Anheuser-Busch Natural Light, and he doesn't have to call it Anheuser Natural. Just say natural.
He said natural. He knows for a smooth, clean taste and a great light beer, people distinctly ask for natural by name.
Name? My name is Raymond J. Johnson, Jr. Now, you can call me Ray, or you can call me Jim.
Then I tell you, I'm fed up.
No, I'm fed up. And I'm not going to waste my money anymore.
It's Toyota time.
You won't waste money with Toyota Celica ST Sport Coupe. It's our lowest price Celica.
But you get standard features like 5-speed overdrive,
Front disc brakes, reclining bucket seats, and more. Get the best selection, best value, and your best deal during Toyota time. When you got it, you got it.
Toyota.
There he is. The man who Van Schamen replaced, Garo Eupremian. Yes, he's the bald fellow in the yellow shirt, the Cypriot. And I don't imagine he's very happy now.
Became an American citizen right in this field.
Yes, that's right.
Al Hunter, as the rain starts again, takes the kickoff for Seattle. Cuts back. Hit, struck, knocked down, 24-yard line. Down on the special teams was Cleveland Green, number 61.
Anyway, one of the positive things about Don Shula, he's an astute judge of talent. And I read in the paper during the week here in Miami that he had second thoughts about keeping Van Schamen and was thinking about maybe bringing Eupremian back. He is a good enough judge of talent that I think he's going to stay with his initial thought, a younger, stronger leg. Garo Eupremian has done a lot for this football team, but everybody's time passes.
48 seconds left to play, 3rd quarter. Dolphins have taken back the lead 12-10. Seattle now having to contend with another driving rainfall. It's coming down here in Miami. And Sherman Smith looking for room is cordoned off by outside linebacker Larry Gordon and knocked down.
That's the 3rd time they've come to that play, Don, and that time they finally stopped it. Larry Gordon, one of the most active linebackers there is in professional football. Big rangy guy.
The Starlights ready for it all.
Don't seem to be bothered by the rain.
Dornick now.
Looks like the rain shrunk their outfits there a little bit. I may be wrong.
They get a little attention too, don't they, here?
Yes, they do.
How about a whole lot? Now Dornick is in the offensive backfield with Sherman Smith. Dornick can catch the ball. It's 2nd and 12. Right now he stays in the block. Zorn waits, throws to Dornick. Dornick said, who, me? Didn't expect it. Betters was putting a big rush on. Betters can play. He's coming hard from that
Very
right end.
well.
Right now, the 3rd quarter has run out. So we'll be back with the rest of this game, and it's going to be a good one as it has been in a moment.
There's a problem in this country that has cost American business billions of dollars in losses.
as well as far greater human losses between man and woman, parent and child, and country. And that's the problem of people not knowing how to listen. And why should we? We haven't been taught. With all of the great education this country has to offer, we get no fundamental grounding in the thing most of us spend about half our time doing, listening. Well, as one of the world's major corporations, we at Sperry are doing something about it. We've set up extensive listening programs that Sperry employees worldwide can take part in. Sales representatives, computer engineers, and even the chairman of the board. These programs are making us better at dealing with each other. And when you do business with Sperry Univac or any of our other divisions, we think you'll find they're making us better at dealing with you.
Sperry, we understand how important it is to listen.
There are times when any investor needs security. Protection from the unknown. Low-risk investments with a solid return. We know where the best ones are, because our strength, instinct, and resourcefulness is unmatched by any other investment firm. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
The race for the 1980 Olympics has already begun. The games in Moscow are just the last lap of a long, grueling race that's going on right now. We've got the talent, but we need your support, because America doesn't send athletes to the Olympics, Americans do. Don't let our team get caught short. Send a contribution to U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1980C, Cathedral Station, Boston. For contributions of $25 or more, you'll receive this gold-plated medallion. This message sponsored by the U.S. Olympic Committee and NBC.
We're going to give you that address again so you get a pencil and paper. Give you a brief moment now, and then you can write it down. Support the U.S. Olympic movement. Right now, Seattle breaks the huddle. Start of the fourth quarter. Seahawks have fallen behind by 2, 12-10. Rain let up again now. We had a brief moment of sun during the timeout. Overcast once again. Bizarre weather conditions. Big storm fronts have moved through this area for 2 weeks. The throw and the strike to Dornick, and a first down for Seattle. Beautiful throw by Jim Zorn.
One of the elements of this game, Don, we said at the beginning, was that Seattle was going to have to pass block against a good pass rushing team in Miami. They've done it all day long. Good catch by Dornick. Turns to the outside against Roan, and that's a mistake on Roan's part. That's his man to cover. First down.
Here's that address again to send your tax-deductible contribution to help our American Olympic athletes. U.S. Olympics, Post Office Box 1980C, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts, 02118. First and 10, Seahawks. Zorn, good play fake, holds those linebackers and then throws and hits Sam McCullum. And McCullum steps out of bounds with an 11-yard gain and yet another Seahawk first down.
Thomas was really playing off McCullum. They're playing a zone defense still against these Seattle Seahawk receivers because they do throw the ball so well. That's too much room to give an offensive receiver.
Ralph Benershka, the field goal kicker for San Diego, who is the best in the league, had 13 straight coming into today's game. He's gone out with a rib separation. Don't laugh for that. Here is Sherman Smith running hard. Smith fights off one tackler. Ernest Roan, 55, hit him head on. Smith spun off it, got 4 more, and Rusty Chambers knocked him down. He's second down at about 3. Clock running in the fourth quarter. 13:53 to play in it. At halftime, it was Miami 9, Seahawks 3.
Excuse me, Don, a point to consider. I'm sorry. Seattle is going against the wind here throughout the entire fourth quarter. It may have an effect late on in the ball game, trailing by 2 points and a field goal try.
A very good point. 12-10 right now. Miami in the lead. Zorn takes a look. Lets her rip. Oh, Ryan Pete was open. He had the strong linebacker beaten, but did not look back at his quarterback. It was there.
I almost hit him right in the back of the helmet. Zorn's a little upset about that. There you see his day's statistics. How many have been dropped? How many have almost hit the receiver in the back of the head? He hasn't had that bad a day.
3 of them have hit Miami Dolphins in the hands.
They've been the best passes he's thrown, too.
Glenn Blackwood, rookie from Texas, now comes in the game in the defensive secondary of Miami. Miami pass defense on a passing down. They put those 3 down linemen, everybody else dropping back the 8 men in coverage and zone. It's almost hard to hit the field, let alone a receiver. They got that pretty well cordoned off. But Zorn has been hitting through it. He takes a deep drop. Here comes the rush from Baumauer. The throw, free football. Incomplete. And Seattle will have to punt the ball back to Miami. Ryan Keats was the intended receiver. Tim Foley, the strong safety, covered him.
And excellent covers, too, underneath the linebacker.
Now Nat Moore is going back to return punts. Apparently Shula wants experience and sure hands. He's had Nathan, the rookie from Alabama. Sends Nat Moore back. He's a game breaker. Herman Weaver is standing at his 36-yard line. Will hit the ball about the 40. Oh, there's that wind you were talking about, Robert. It stopped the football free, and sure-handed Nat Moore makes the catch at the 23-yard line. Weaver hit the ball well, but the wind flat stopped it. Down it came like a wedge. Wedge shot now 12-10, and we'll be back with Miami on offense in a moment.
Great news for your home. It's Sears Super Homeowner Sale.
Get super values on many items like these Easy Living one-coat interior paints. Flat, ceiling, and semi-gloss. They're Sears Best. Save $3 each.
Super values, too, on Craftsman Mechanics tool sets. Get this 70-piece set at over $50 savings. And save over $115 on this 147-piece set.
Super savings right now at Sears.
Where America shops for value.
You work underwater in a world most men never see, where the jagged skeleton of a sunken ship could rip a hole in a tanker. Your torch burns through the cold steel until it's just a pile of rusting metal. Now comes Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
You've got the time, we've got the beer. You got it every time. Miller Beer.
On NBC's Sports World, top bowlers are out to strike it rich in the $100,000 Great and Greatest Bowling Tournament, plus coverage of Doug Jones' world record high dive attempt, all next Saturday.
NBC Sports. We're proud.
Next Saturday, NBC Sports World moves to a 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time start. A special show with the Great and the Greatest Bowling Tournament, team competition from Texas, and then live coverage of a world record high dive attempt by Doug Jones from Baltimore, Maryland. The existing record 158 feet, so Doug will be doing the equivalent of going out a 16th floor window into water, and he does a flip. That will be live on Sports World. Baseball at 4, and here is Seattle's defense shooting the gap. Mano Tuiasosopo puts a shoulder into Larry Zonka, and Tuiasosopo wins that one.
I got a question for you on that Sports World next week. How do you practice diving from 158 feet?
That's right.
What makes you go up there the first time?
I don't know what. It's an unusual man, this Doug Jones.
Is he waiting for parts, or is he all there?
He has his own divers who check the water for any cars or whatever might be down there.
Does he use soft water?
He uses Chesapeake Bay Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Norm Bulash in the backfield. Greasy dropping to throw on 2nd 11. Home run ball. Uriel Harris is there. And Harris is all the way down to the 27-yard line. Big play by the Dolphins. As Greasy throws the strike, and Harris, who's been the prime receiver today, makes the big catch.
And the Miami receivers are big play receivers. Fine protection. Greasy's looking at Harris all the way. I think that's all the power that Bob Greasy can generate in a football. He's got him beat, Autry Beeman beat. That's a fine reception by Dariel Harris. Watch this protection by the Miami offensive line. Seattle runs a stunt, but they still keep him out. Greasy's got plenty of time. Harris, fine reception, great concentration on the football.
So now the Dolphins could be challenging as Greasy takes a look, throws again. Hardy, the tight end, has the ball. And Bruce Hardy, in his 3rd year from Arizona State. They like his hands. Gets the ball, gets ahead for about 5 yards. Autry Beeman, the strong safety, and Cornell Webster, the left corner, knocked him down.
And I think everybody was looking once again at that strong side receiver.
He looks like you. that 84.
A little younger. Daryl Harris, 5
rangy
catches
guy.
for 117 yards. The age is the difference, the most important difference. I said that before that was on Autry Beeman. Excuse me, that's not true from Seattle. That was on Dave Brown, one of the most consistent defensive backs in the Seattle team.
2nd and 5, Miami. Dolphins lead by 2, fourth quarter, 12-10. Greasy goes to Zonka, and Larry Zonka hits down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. He's knocked down there by Bill Gregory. Don Shula, the coach of the Dolphins, likes players who will play hurt. Somebody said Shula has a high threshold for somebody else's pain.
Yes, yeah, there are a lot of coaches like that in professional football. He demands a great deal. There's the bespectacled Bob Greasy. No, he is not a history professor. He is a doctor of quarterback.
Got an unusual eye condition. That was going to take him out of football a couple of years ago, and he got special glasses prescribed by the former Olympic sprinter Dave Sine. Looking to throw is Greasy. Oh, interference is there. There is. Good call. Matt Moore's only caught 1 ball today, but it went for 6. That time he was the man to interfere with. Beeman hit him before the ball got there.
Good call. That touchdown reception by Nat Moore incidentally tied him with Paul Warfield for touchdowns on the Miami Dolphins with 33. That's rather impressive, isn't it?
Very impressive.
I don't know how else you stop a play like that. I mean, the only chance you have is a defensive lineman knocking the ball down, or you pass interfere with him and hope that you can keep him out. Autry Beeman was the culprit.
Shula says that Matt Moore is the most versatile athlete in pro football today.
Here you see, it's just a simple slant-in pattern. Greasy's just waiting for him to get inside the linebacker, and you can't quite see it, but Beeman in desperation trying to break it up.
Now it is 1st and goal for the Dolphins. 9-yard line of Seattle. Miami with a 2-point lead, fourth quarter, 9:58 to play in it. Zonka runs and keeps on trucking and gets down to the 7-yard line. Robert Hardy knocked him down. And this is down this close. Nat Moore country. He likes to slant run inside the 10.
Same play again. They might get interference again. That was a trap play. Trying to get Zonk up through there. He's a little slow getting to it. There's Shula. He's a little concerned, but he's won an awful lot of football games here in the Orange Bowl. Knows how to get it in the end zone.
Boy, has he won a lot of football games in the Orange Bowl. 58-11. Nat Moore's to the right. Cornell Webster's cutting off the inside on him. You know where he likes to go. Greasy takes a look. He's looking at tight end. Touchdown is Norm Bullock, who swung out of the backfield. So Big Boo returns after retiring, being summoned back, and a salute from the sidelines and a standing ovation from the Miami Dolphins fans.
Living here in Miami, and Shula called him and said, "We need you." Always an excellent receiver, great power through that tackle, just pure leg strength, and he gets it in the end zone, and that's the kind of intensity that Shula likes in his football players. Always an excellent receiver, runs right through the tackle. And Beeson is no slouch. He is an excellent football player.
So now Bob Greasy has hit 15 to 27 for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. Don Shulman trying the extra point. Right there. 9:08 to play, and the Dolphins take the lead 19 to 10. So right now, Seattle and Jim Zorn need touchdowns. They'll be out throwing when they get the ball back when we return in a moment.
It's time. Man, we are fed up. And we're not going to waste our money anymore.
It's Toyota time. Don't waste money. See Toyota's SR5 Sport Truck now. It's loaded with sporty car-like features.
A powerful 2.2-liter engine.
Red-hot styling, and more. Get best selection and your best deal during Toyota time.
When you got it, you got it.
Toyota!
Walt Garrison?
Hey!
You know, since I started going smokeless, I wouldn't be without my happy days. Just a pinch between my cheek and gum gives me real tobacco pleasure, without lighting up.
Same goes for Skoal with its fresh wintergreen taste. And with either one, just a pinch is all it takes.
Walt?
Mm-hmm.
How many home runs did you hit in your career?
Copenhagen Skoal and Happy Days are official sponsors of the 1980 Winter Olympics.
Saturday, September 22nd, it's a Chips All-Star Roller Disco. Then T.R. Sloan and Torque out Bon Bon as they take on the Deadly Seduction Squad. It's super action on Saturday.
City of Miami welcoming you to the Orange Bowl, and so does NBC. With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Crickey. 9:08 to play in the game. The Dolphins have just annexed their lead, now extended it to 19-10. Kickoff by Van Schaman. Alphonse Hunter a yard deep out of the end zone. And he gets it out to the 31-yard line, and there it'll be 1st and 10 for Zorn and the Seattle Seahawks. The Major League Baseball game of the week travels to the West Coast next Saturday for National League action at a special time. The pregame show, Major League Baseball and Inside Look, airs at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock Pacific Time, following NBC Sports World. At 4:15 Eastern Time, or 1:15 on the coast, you'll see Cincinnati versus Los Angeles from Dodger Stadium, or Houston versus San Francisco at Candlestick Park, San Francisco. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. The Astros and the Reds cranking it up for a run down the stretch for that National League Western title. Cincinnati has it going into today's play. Here's Sherman Smith breaking free. Toll, 56, finally hits him, knocks him down at the 35.
8:52 left in the fourth quarter, Don. The Seahawks have to pull out all the stops. They got to come back with as many pass plays they possibly can. Almost a mix-up there with Dornick. Sherman Smith, an impressive running back when you consider that he was a college quarterback, although somewhat of a running college quarterback. 800 yards last year. Also caught a lot of passes. Very valuable member of the Seattle Seahawks. 9 rushes now, 47 yards for Sherman Smith. Got 95 last week.
Smith has been Seattle's leading rusher each of the last 3 seasons. Averaged almost 5 yards a carry last year when he got over 800 yards and missed 4 games. They go right back to Smith. He works hard on a 2nd down and 5 carry, gets close to a 1st down, but he will be a yard short of it as he gets the ball to the 40-yard line. Here's a report on Dan Pastorini, who went down today in the Pittsburgh game. He had a jammed right arm, bruised shoulders and ribs. And his status for next week is right now questionable, but fortunately the x-rays were negative, as they were on David Sims. X-rays on the Seattle running back who was hurt earlier in this game. He'll be going back with the team up, walking around, but he's been out since late in the 1st quarter. Brian Peets and Mark Bell are in at tight ends now on a short yardage play, 3rd and 1, and Zorn takes a look at the defense, and I think he wants to talk it over. Or does Miami?
That was Miami.
So Miami calls timeout with 7:34 left to play, and the Dolphins leading 19-10.
A good quarterback does his homework on and off the field. That's probably why the 3 of us are all drinking light beer from Miller.
See, light's got a 1/3 less calories than the regular beer, and it's less filling.
Plus, it tastes great. And you know it's important to have a command of facts like that.
It's mental discipline, really.
You're darn right. Because if you know every position, every option, every formation, you'll never get your signals crossed.
Hey, that's my beer, Terry.
Oh, no, this is...
no,
wait
well,
a minute. Wait a minute.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and
I
less.
didn't feel my label.
To drive through dirt and dust, good filters are a must. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Sure glad I installed new AC air and oil filters before we get into this mess.
I bet AC helps protect those babies too, huh, Dad?
If they're smart.
George!
Oh.
So when you gotta go, we're the name to know. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Next Sunday, start your day with NFL 79. Then it's regional coverage of exciting NFL action. Telecasts include the Patriots-Bengals battle and the Oakland-Seattle clash. Check local listings for the game in your area.
NBC Sports. We're proud.
National Football League action next Sunday here on NBC as the season moves to its 3rd week. And some of the good clubs getting hot early. New England plays at Cincinnati. They're coming off a big win today. Are the Patriots over the New York Jets. Ran a 56 point. Denver at Atlanta. Baltimore at Cleveland. At 2 o'clock Eastern start. The Dolphins go to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Kansas City's at Houston. Right now Kansas City's trailing Cleveland 20-14 in the 4th quarter. 8:50 to play. 4 o'clock games, Oakland at Seattle. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. Buffalo at San Diego. 3rd and 1 to the run, and Sherman Smith gets the money yards for Seattle. He has a 1st down up to the 43. So the Seahawk drive stays alive with 7:25 to play in the game and the clock running.
And it's not over yet with the way that Seattle throws the football. Ooh, look at that. 30-10 San Diego over Oakland. Goodness gracious.
A lot of speculation that San Diego might give up points when Kelcher went out with the knee injury, but they've looked awfully strong the first 2 weeks. Dallas, a prohibitive favorite over San Francisco, leading by but 3 in the fourth quarter. O.J. has returned to score a touchdown for the 49ers. There's that Cleveland-Kansas City score in the fourth quarter, 20-14. Here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, we're inside 7 minutes to go in the game. It's 19-10 Dolphins. Zorn takes a look. He throws, and he's got his man. It's again Sherman Smith. He has been the wrecker for Seattle as he drives the Seahawks down inside the 45-yard line of Miami and down to the 43. Gordon finally knocked him down. Bob?
Just the secondary or third receiver. Sherman Smith turns around and looks at the quarterback. Zorn in desperation throws it to him, and Sherman Smith showed me some real acceleration when he got that football up the field. Another first down there driving. 6:25 left in the fourth quarter.
Miami with a 9-3 halftime lead. And then the Seahawks struck. Took the lead 10-9. Dolphins came back. Field goal gave them a 12-10 advantage. Touchdown throw to Norm Bullock. Bob Greasy. Here's a good play fake. Gave them the current lead. Zorn fires in the flat. Durnick. Let's see if he can elude the tacklers. He does. Dan Durnick is close to a first down. He has the ball inside the 35-yard line. He'll be close to a first down. Short of it is Matheson, who intercepted Zorn in the first half, you'll remember, was the man who made the stop on the play for Miami.
Dornick has played an excellent game in replacement of David Sims. He's a little worn out somewhat, but doing an excellent job, I think. Second down. This is the passing down and try to get it in the end zone right here.
Sherman goes over to that sideline. Give me some juice or some oxygen or something. Towel. Jeff Moore comes in. They like him. Rookie running back out of Jackson State. He's the deep back in the I set. First back through gets the football. Durnick runs hard. He's going to be close to a first down. On second down and 2, he might have it. And he is down to the 32-yard line. Official timeout now as we spot the ball. Bob Baumhauer, the big middle guard, number 73. Baumhauer got rid of his pet lion today. They get the first down earlier this week.
Wait a minute, what, his pet lion?
They're saying the players he had a pet lion, but Baumhauer said they thought it was cute for a while, but I found out I wasn't boss anymore.
How old was it when he got rid of it?
He was about 5 months old.
Nice house pet.
You're as big as Baumhauer. Al Hunter is in the game now, along with Jeff Moore. Lighter backs, but faster ones. And Zorn's looking to call his number. Doesn't get there. Doug Betters, who's played a big football game for Miami at right end. A.J. Dewey's been out since the first quarter. We haven't had an injury report on him.
Betters got him, but the guy that caused all the problems was Foley on the blitz from the safety spot. 5 defensive backs in there, and Foley came in to kind of mess it up a little bit. 3 carries, 16 yards. They got to get the ball in the air. 4:34 and counting down.
Jim Zorn will keep it in the air, as they say, and sadly walks out of the house Sunday morning throwing. 6'2", 200 pounds, the last cut of the Dallas Cowboys, who thought they had him hidden in Los Angeles. Vic Mansbarger, though, had a scouting for Seattle, was from the Dallas organization. He knew where to get him. On the blitz on the play was Neil Colsey, the free safety. So Zorn has now put the ball up 35 times. 184 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
All things considered, that was a bad choice on Jim Zorn's part. What he's got to do is keep control of the football.
Yeah.
Don't throw it in desperation. At least get out of bounds to stop the clock. That's the best thing to do. The worst thing to do is throw it up for an interception. There's Jack Patera. He's not in charge of the offense. He's the defensive genius. Jerry Rome up here in the booth is the guy calling the plays.
Coach Patera scored a lot of accolades after last season, and with good reason. After this team finished 9-7 its third year in pro football, he got every Coach of the Year award.
But now they got to live up to that 9-7. That's tough.
You remember that from Cincinnati?
Yes, I do.
Zorn gets it away. Boy, Zorn did. He was really hammered just as he released the ball. Glenn Blackwood, a hitter from Texas, was covering on the play. He came on a blitz, and he caught Jim Zorn just after he released the ball. So now it's 4th down. And Efren Herrera is going to try a home run ball.
Against the wind.
32-yard line, 48-yard attempt, 50-yard attempt. That's right, against the wind. The wind has died down somewhat now. It's a 19-10 game. takes over the ball now. They'll look to run it, protect the lead. Zorn will hold. He might get up and throw the ball. You know Zorn. Herrera hits it. Wide to the right. So the count holds. It is 19-10. Miami in the lead. 4 minutes left to play. And when we come back, the Dolphins will have the ball first and 10 at their 32-yard line as Coach Patera looking on a dim situation.
If you're planning a meeting, let Hilton bring it to order. We know how to put on dinner meetings, sales meetings, board meetings, financial meetings. And in Las Vegas, we can even put on meetings like this. Because when Hilton takes care of your meeting, you can take care of business.
There's no place like Hilton.
Back half of my head.
Colin Gardenier has a headache.
Will you try extra-strength Tylenol?
I will try it if it's going to help.
Compare the levels of medicine in the leading regular and extra ingredient pain relievers. Extra strength Tylenol has more medicine.
How do you feel?
Super. My headache has disappeared. I was about to ask you if I could take some of these with me. It seems to really have done the job.
Extra strength Tylenol, aspirin free, and you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
I feel great.
Back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, this is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 4 minutes left to play. A 50-yard field goal by Efren Herrera. Carried very deep, 15 yards beyond where it had to go, but it was wide. And so now the Dolphins have a 19-10 lead and 4 minutes to go. And here is where you give the ball to 39.
Absolutely. Miami just put in their second tight end, Ronnie Lee, a rookie this year, and I imagine they're going to try to run it right down Seattle's throat. Control the ball for 4 minutes, and the game is theirs.
Last week at Buffalo, they had to go 77 yards to the end zone to come from behind. A driving rain. Zonka, and more Zonka. And finally, he took it into the end zone, and Miami got out of there with a 2-point win. And here is Zonka, and some more Zonka now as he gets it out to the 33. Not much gain on the play. Right now, the Dolphins looking to run that clock. It is down to 3:50 and running.
And Seattle has all 3 of their timeouts left.
Stop by Jackson. Gain of 2.
They need a little more than 2 yards a pop by Larry Zonka.
Now they're talking about Neil Colsey earlier, Bob. When he was at Oakland, he was offered the bit part in a movie, Black Sunday. He turned it down. Would have gotten $3,000 for the part, and I asked him why. He said, because I would have had to wear a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. I wouldn't put one of those on for $10,000.
Well, I want you to remember they do wear the black hats.
Right now, a timeout is signaled for by the Dolphins with 3:18 left to play. Kind of a weird time to call one. 2nd and 8. Ball is out to the 33-yard line. Greasy comes over, and something he didn't like in the defense.
Well, I don't.
Because of the length this game is running, we'll not go to New York for a report from NFL 79. So right now we're going to update scores from around the National Football League. Here is a final. Pittsburgh blowing out Houston 38-7. Pastorini went down in that game, but X-rays fortunately proved negative. The New England Patriots, coming off that Monday night loss, blasted the Jets 56-3. The St. Louis Cardinals rallied back from 14 points down in the first quarter and beat the Giants 27-14 today. Chicago was down to Minnesota, but then rallied back. Peyton ran the ball well into the end zone twice, and they beat the Minnesota Vikings 26-7. The Buffalo Bills, with Roland Hook scoring 4 times and a linebacker, Lucius Sanford, scoring twice, routed Cincinnati 51-24. The Redskins rallied from behind, and they beat the Lions at Pontiac, Michigan 27-24. Green Bay came from behind, beat New Orleans 28-19. Saints top draft choice Erxleben went out with an injury. A Niall O'Donoghue field goal in overtime gave Tampa Bay its 2nd win in as many games this season, 29-26 over Baltimore. Then we've got the late starting game. San Diego leading Oakland 30-10, 11 minutes to play, 4th quarter. Dallas leading San Francisco 19-13, 6:18 to play, 4th quarter. Kansas City's gone in front of Cleveland 21-20 with 5.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. They're down 17-0. Big carry by Delvin Williams, gets out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Mano Tuiasosopo Otribimon on the stop for the Seattle Seahawks. Boy, the scheduling is so tough down the line here, Bob, for Seattle. They go home, and they've got Oakland. And they got the rest of that division, which is mean, to say the least. They go to Denver the next week. Kansas City comes in there following that.
Do you know what the worst part of losing 19-10 in the Miami Dolphins is? On a hot, humid day in Miami, flying back to Seattle. That trip seems like it's 4 days long.
Delvin Williams dives over the top with 2:34 left to play in the game. And he might have gotten the first down. Don't forget, next Saturday at 3 o'clock on Sports World, a live attempt by Doug Jones at the world high dive record, which currently stands at 158 feet. You'll see him live make that attempt at 160 feet, 16 stories into Chesapeake Bay.
Have you planned a post-dive interview?
I tell you, you got to think about that, don't you? I'll be there for that.
I wonder how people get started doing that. I mean, that just surprises me.
Well, they start jumping out of planes with chutes, and that gets to be no fun. He doesn't flip, I understand, going down.
I'll flip you. Does he go in head first or feet first?
He goes in head first, hopefully. Head first or feet first. Anything else, it doesn't work. Dallas leading San Francisco. Kansas City now has kicked the field goal and extended its lead to 24-20 over Cleveland. The Chiefs are tough. Marv Levy, the coach at Kansas City, you don't hear a lot about, but he really has his teams prepared. He was an assistant under George Allen, went up to Canada, took a last-place team. His first year there, they won the Grey Cup. The Montreal Alouettes, they won it twice while he was there. He knows how to coach.
Their two defensive ends, too, are something to behold. Art Still out of Kentucky and Mike Bell, both high first draft choices. They know how to play defense.
Right now, there's a timeout on the field with 2:11 left to play at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We want to thank our entire NBC crew for their usual good work, headed by producer Roy Hammerman, director Jim Holmes. As we have 2:11 left to go, the Dolphins were leading 9-3 at the half. The Seahawks rallied back as they do so often. Last year, the Seahawks were involved in 6 games that were decided on the last play of the game. They won 5 of them. 2 of the 5 wins were defensive.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, too, this is their 4th year in existence. Last year, 9-7, tied with 3 of the teams in the AFC West at 9-7. Now they got to live up to that 9-7. The people in Seattle will be disappointed if they can't come up with a better season, a better record than 9-7, and that's when it starts to get tough to play professional football.
I'll tell you, there are fans and there are Seattle fans, though. They have something in every sport. You give them something to cheer about, and they'll fill the biggest building you can find. This Kingdome is sold out on a season basis. Today's attendance at the Orange Bowl, 56,223.
Don Anderson, the publicity man of the Seattle Seahawks, told me a story last year. In 6 weeks, they sold out the Kingdome the first year the Seahawks were in business. Now that's saying something about some football star fans in Seattle area.
They love it. Bob Greasy gives off, and Zonka hits straight ahead. They go to the bullback, the money back, out to the 45-yard line, and the clock winds down to 2 minutes on the tackle by Beeson and Tuya Sosopo. So with 2 minutes left to play in the game, there'll be a break in the action here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, with the Dolphins driving, looking to run out the clock, holding to a 19-10 lead over Seattle.
Lovely, lovely. And now a word from our beauty contest winner.
I'm fed up, and I'm not going to waste my money anymore. It's Toyota time.
Don't waste, but don't do without. Toyota Time is the best time to get the best selection and best deal on Toyota's sporty Celica. Get European style and handling with Toyota's total economy and a car that's fun to drive year after year.
It's Toyota time.
When you've got it, you've got it.
Toyota.
Weekends were made for Michelob. Weekends were made for special things. It's the time to have that smooth and mellow beer. It's Michelob.
If this is the weekend for something special, shouldn't the beer be special too? Shouldn't the beer be Michelob?
Weekends were made for Michelob.
Yeah.
Larry Zonka with 48 yards and 12 carries today for the Miami Dolphins. He said he just wants to go out of football with his head held high. They haven't been happy seasons, the recent ones. There was a lot of money in the World Football League, a lot of money at New York, but none of the glory days as he knew here in Miami, and he wanted to get back with Shula for one more go.
I'm sure he's very comfortable coming here to Miami. Don Shula was probably very smart by picking up Larry Zonka.
Who have tuned in to watch Walt Disney. You'll be seeing the Walt Disney Show after our coverage of NFL football. Those on the West Coast will be watching Disney at its regular time. Right now here in Miami, we have 1:56 left to play, and the Miami Dolphins are leading Seattle 19-10. Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching KING TV, Seattle.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui, Orange Bowl in Miami. The Dolphins looking to extend their victory string this season to 2 straight. They've been tough wins at Buffalo and now over a game Seattle team that looked down early but rallied back to take the lead. And finally, on 2 greasy touchdown throws, the first to Nat Moore, the second to Norm Bulash. The Dolphins have command of the game at the moment on the football. 3rd down, though. Delvin Williams runs the ball and gets it out to the 48-yard line. And the clock continues to run. Bill Cook was on the tackle. Those of you who tuned in to watch Walt Disney, you will see it. Following our coverage of NFL football, I want to thank in the booth Bo McComas, Harry Van Suskill, Paul Mecker, Jim Grace, and Ed Berliner.
Don, you mentioned the Seattle Seahawks schedule this year. It is a tough one. They go home next week and play the Oakland Raiders, then they go to Denver, then they play Kansas City, then the 49ers, and the Chargers. So with their success 9-7 last year, they got to play better football teams.
Well, there's no easy weeks in that AFC West.
I don't think there are any easy weeks anywhere anymore in professional football.
People thought they were getting a week off against Kansas City. Wait and see.
Wrong.
How about Buffalo beating Cincinnati 51-24?
I still find that very, very hard to believe.
Believe it.
Cincinnati is a good defensive football team, and to have 54 points scored on them, they got to be shaking their heads. They go home on a bus.
If they go home at all. Yeah. Jeff Moore is back now for the punt. George Roberts ready to hit it with 1:48 left to play. So Zorn will be in there pitching again in a moment. But time working against the Seattle Seahawks now. Here's the snap. Going for the block. Roberts gets it away. And the tackle is made at the 26-yard line. Jeff Moore brought it back to there. Mark Dennard came down to make the hit. With 1:37 left to play in the game, Jim Zorn and the Seahawks come out for one more try.
Everybody that plays professional football must have a little Jimmy Stewart in them. You see George Roberts trying to draw the penalty for running into the kicker, nicked by a grasshopper.
Who's the best you've seen that going in that?
The best actor I've ever seen in professional football. We got a player down and he appears to be out cold. It's Terry Bradshaw. When he gets hurt, you can't tell if he's going to live or not until you give him about 35 seconds or until he gets to the sideline. He is a great actor when it comes to getting sacked by somebody in professional football.
He's also a great quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah, he can afford to act. Yeah, he's practicing a little bit for some of his commercials and his country and western singing.
So at the moment we have a man down for Miami. The clock stopped with 1:37 left to play. Ron Lee, rookie tight end out of Baylor. Big guys, all right. We're going to play football again now. Seattle will be throwing. Down 19-10 with 1:37 to go.
Zorn will now try to call a series of plays. They'll go with no huddle. They'll try to get as much as they possibly can in 2 plays, call a timeout, regroup, or throw the ball out of bounds.
We watched their 2-minute offense drill yesterday here at the stadium. Zorn gets down the field after a completion almost as fast as wide receivers are down there. He's thrown 36 times for 188 yards and a touchdown, but has been intercepted 3 times. Both led to Miami scores. First 2 led to Miami scores. Here's Zorn dropping back. Deep drop. He's got time. Throws hard. Over the middle he goes to Sherman Smith. Penalty marker is down. That stops the clock with 1:28 to go.
Roland Foley on the tackle. Flags are down.
Might be a clip on Rabel.
Clipping signal against Seattle.
So that puts the Seahawks in a hole now. They'll come back out with a lot of yardage to make up.
And with 5 defensive backs in the backfield for the Miami Dolphins, you're not going to get much but a 5 or 6 yard pass and then hope your running backs can outrun everybody else, which is somewhat optimistic at best, but nevertheless, with 1:28 left, you're trying to win a football game. You called it, Coach Cricky.
Jim Tunney gives the signal. Now Dan Dorning comes in the game. Might have been Dorning on the clip, not Rabel. Dorning leaves the game. He's still in there. At any rate, we'll play football. Here comes Jim Zorn looking down into the sideline. Duke Ferguson. No, it's Sam McCullum catches the ball and goes out of bounds. Nicely done by McCullum. He got almost enough for the first down. Gerald Small covering on the play and going out of bounds. He stops the clock with 1:21 to play.
Gain of 17 yards.
Here's the defensive backfield of the Miami Dolphins. How'd you like to try to run a pattern in there? They're all waiting for you. That's one of the things I don't like about professional football nowadays. I think to cut down on the injuries, you got to disallow the zone. Then you don't have people standing back there waiting for a receiver who's up in the air, cut the legs out from underneath them. I think that's a consideration for people in football. Do away with the zone.
That's from a guy who played 10 years as a receiver. He got hit by a few zones.
Oh, yeah. More than a few.
Swing pass, Sherman Smith. And he gets out across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Zorn brings his team up quickly. They'll go into alignment without a huddle. As the clock is down to 1:08 and running. Miami's in the lead 19-10. Zorn stops over the middle. Hard strike on Dornick. He's close to a first down. Just short of it. Now the clock down to 50 seconds. Zorn taking them down the field, but they need a touchdown, an extra point, and a field goal to pull this out.
They need to stop the clock right now, Don, and regroup.
Zorn takes a look. Lots of Dolphins back. Great football for Charlie Babb. He was so open he couldn't catch it. Hit him in a bad place.
Yeah, hit him in the hands. He was watching the receiver, though. Looking right at the receiver, which is what his job is. There's Don Shula saying, get back in the goal line. Don't be up there so close. Get way back.
That's a couple of guys playing at center field.
At least two, probably three.
34 seconds left to play. Jim Zorn has now thrown the ball 40 times, 222 yards. He's completed 18 of the 40.
Calling two plays.
Lots of wide receivers in. Zorn takes a drop on 3rd and 1. Big rush against him. Swings it out. The ball is caught. Rabel has it. He's got a first down and gets out of bounds inside the 40, stopping the clock with 26 seconds to play.
Even though they're losing, I still like the Seattle football team. They have a great deal of talent. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to win now because they got to be better than 9-7, or it's going to be a disappointing year. Oh, that's pulled hamstring or a cramp in a hamstring. That's a cramp in a hamstring. Oh,
it's more of a cramp.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, if you've ever had that, you know what that feels like. That'll bother him for the next 4 or 5 days. Look at that. That's from the heat. You lose electrolytes, I understand, in your system. That's the liquid in your system, and that causes the cramps. And he'll have those on the plane all the way back to Seattle. That's smart. Grab his toe. Nothing you can do about it.
So Steve Rabel goes off the field now. 24 seconds left. Zorn fires and throws over the head of Sam McCullum. And the clock shows 21 seconds to play. So at this point, the Seahawks are really just staving off the inevitable, stopping the clock on throws. Down by 9 with 21 seconds to play.
The Miami Dolphins deep defensive backs are at least 40 yards deep when the ball is snapped.
In the 4th quarter, Dallas is not having an easy time at San Francisco, although the Cowboys are winning the game. They've had 2 close wins this season. Now Cleveland's gone ahead of Kansas City in the 4th quarter, 27-24. Here in Miami, 21 seconds left to play. 2nd down and 10, Seattle. Zorn looks, loops, throws the ball. Sherman Smith gets it. And he's down to the 30-yard line on a timeout is signaled for. So with 12 seconds left to play, Zorn's not going to give it up easy. He's going to keep on pitching right till the horn goes off or the gun sounds, as this team trails 19-10 to Miami.
Yeah, we mentioned the... Excuse me. Go ahead, Don.
We'll be back with the conclusion of this game of the Orange Bowl in just a moment.
to everybody who puts in a hard day's work. This Bud's for you.
This Bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you. You know it isn't only what you say, it's what you do. This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
Hey, this Bud's for you.
We have 12 seconds to go. It is 3rd and 1, and with Zonka looking on from the sidelines, the Dolphins go back, way back. They got 3 guys standing inside the 10-yard line. If they are expecting the end zone ball from Jim Zorn, it will be coming.
I'll tell you what, if Seattle gets the ball behind the Miami Dolphins defensive backs, those guys are going to be looking for a job tomorrow.
Into the end zone it goes. Up in the air go a lot of people. Incomplete with 2 seconds left. There's a penalty marker down, though. Illegal man downfield. Play would have been negated had it been caught in the end zone.
Yes, we mentioned the upcoming schedule of the Seattle Seahawks. Miami goes to Minnesota next week, then plays the Bears here, then the Jets, then the Oakland Raiders there, the Buffalo Bills.
Dolphins 19, Seahawks 10. As Seattle keeps on gunning down the stretch, trying to get points up. And Efren Herrera hit that long field goal that just went wide and to get into the end zone, they could have won this game.
Lineman downfield, number 61, 10 yards, still 3rd down.
The penalty mark is assessed against Seattle out to the 41-yard line of Miami. A final score from San Diego. Chargers won again, beat Oakland decisively, 30-10. Oakland will be 1-1. Is 1-1. Seattle will be 0-2. Pitch back. They run. And Gethmoor does not get there, and so the gun goes off and the game ends, and the final number is up. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Seattle Seahawks 19-10 here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Now for Bob Trumpy, this is Don Krupke. We're going to switch you for last-minute coverage of the Kansas City-Cleveland game. More NFL football coming up.